And I was a foreign correspondent. Well, what is the job of a foreign correspondent? It's to be culturally, linguistically, historically, religiously literate, to understand how people in another society view us, what their grievances are. And in fact, of course, many times those grievances are legitimate. So I was covering the revolutions in Eastern Europe in 1989, and we understood, it was universally understood that the expansion of NATO, in fact, of course, NATO should have been rendered obsolete. It was a Cold War creation to halt Soviet expansion into Eastern and Central Europe. We thought there would be a peace dividend. There were promises made not to expand NATO beyond the borders of a unified Germany by Margaret Thatcher, Hans-Dietrich Genscher, Secretary of State at the time, James Baker. It was all understood across the political spectrum, from Henry Kissinger to George Kennan. There was no argument. But of course, it was a multi-billion-dollar arms bonanza for the defense industry if they could expand NATO and get former Eastern Bloc countries to refit their militaries to be NATO compatible. I wrote a column on ScheerPost about, I quoted from 2008 cable that had been released by WikiLeaks, written out of Moscow, that talked about how this would set the Ukraine alight. I'm not excusing, by the way, the attack on the Ukraine. It's preemptive war. It's criminal war of aggression. But clearly Russia was baited. But you can't say that. And it's this kind of self-adulation and demonization. I mean, all of our enemies are the new Hitler, whether it's Saddam Hussein or Vladimir. It's just childish.